Hey there. So, you've probably heard a million different tips on how to boost your immune system, right? But what if that entire idea is just wrong? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get to the truth of what really keeps our body's defense system working the way it should, all based on the actual science.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle that whole boosting idea. Then, we'll bust some of the most common myths you hear all the time. After that, we'll uncover a secret, amazing job your immune system is doing literally right now. Explore the wild connection between your mind and your immunity, and then we'll wrap up with some smart, practical advice to help you stay healthy.
Okay, let's dive right in with the biggest, most important idea we really need to rethink. You see it everywhere, right? On juice bottles, on supplement packages. Boost your immunity. It's the promise behind countless products. But let me ask you, is a stronger, more aggressive immune system really what we want?
Well, according to experts like Professor Daniel Davis, the answer is a hard no. In fact, he says that's the last thing you want to do. See, cranking your immune system into overdrive is actually dangerous. A system that's too boosted can get confused and start attacking your own healthy cells. And that's exactly what happens in autoimmune diseases.
So here's the real goal. It's not about boosting, it's all about balance. A healthy immune system is kind of like a perfectly trained security guard. You want it to be incredibly tough when there's a real threat, but totally calm and chill the rest of the time. That balance is the sweet spot.
Okay, so with that key idea of balance in mind, let's have some fun and bust a few of the most common myths out there. I bet you've heard these before.
First up, the big one, vitamin C. The myth we've all been told is that if you take massive doses, you can prevent colds. But the science, the hard fact from actual clinical trials is crystal clear. It just doesn't. Vitamin C will not stop you from catching a cold.
So, does it do anything? Well, yeah, a little bit. For people who take it all the time, it might shorten the cold by about 8%. So what does that really mean? If your cold was going to last, say, 3 days, taking vitamin C might help you feel better maybe 5 or 6 hours earlier. It's not exactly the miracle cure we've all been sold.
So how on earth did this myth get so popular? Well, you can pretty much trace it back to one guy, Linus Pauling, an absolutely brilliant scientist, a 2-time Nobel Prize winner. Back in the 70s, he wrote a book that championed vitamin C, and the idea just exploded. It's a really good reminder of how one powerful voice can shape what we believe for decades, even when the science doesn't quite back it up.
All right, next myth. This is a classic. You've heard it from your parents, your grandparents, everyone. Put a coat on or you'll catch a cold. But is there any actual truth to it?
Well, not in the way you think. Just being cold doesn't magically create a cold virus. Let's be clear. Colds are caused by viruses, full stop. The real reason we all get sick more in the winter is because those viruses just happen to survive and spread much more easily in cold, dry air. So it's more about the virus thriving in that environment than it is about your body's temperature.
Okay, we've cleared up some myths. Now I want to talk about one of the most mind-blowing things your immune system is doing for you 24/7 without you ever knowing it. So get this. Your immune system is like a constant surveillance team, patrolling your body looking for cells that have gone rogue. When one of your cells gets damaged and starts to become cancerous, it can actually put up a little flag on its surface, basically a kill me signal. An immune cell sees that signal, swoops in, and takes out the dangerous cell before it can ever grow into a tumor.
And I really want to emphasize this. This isn't some rare emergency event. This cellular cleanup is happening in your body all the time. It's one of the most critical, and totally invisible, jobs your immune system does to keep you healthy every single day.
This is amazing. If you had to guess what the biggest genetic differences are between any two people, you'd probably say something like hair color or eye color, right? Nope. Turns out the genes that vary the absolute most between us are the ones that control our immune systems.
And this is such an important thing to understand. Your immune response is genetically unique, just like your fingerprint. So if you and your friend both get the same cold and you're knocked out for a week while they're fine in 2 days, it's not because you did something wrong. It's not a personal failure. It's very, very likely just your unique genetics doing their thing. So please, don't blame yourself. Now that idea of a unique immune system leads us straight into one of the most fascinating and cutting-edge areas of research today, the incredible, powerful link between what's going on in our head and what's going on in our immune system.
So to get this connection, you have to meet the main players.
these things called cytokines. The easiest way to think of them is as the text messengers for your immune system. They're these tiny proteins that immune cells send out to each other to coordinate everything, sending messages like, hey, attack this now, or, okay, everyone, calm down.
And the evidence connecting these immune text messages to our mental health is just wild. It comes from a few different places. First, studies found that kids who have higher levels of these inflammatory cytokines are actually at a greater risk for depression when they're older. Then, in the lab, when scientists inject mice with these same cytokines, the mice start acting in ways that look a lot like depression. And maybe the most compelling clue? Patients with arthritis who take drugs that block these cytokines often report a huge, rapid improvement in their mood.
All right, so we know we need balance, not a boost. We know our immune system is connected to our mental health, so what do we do with all this? Let's turn this knowledge into some smart, practical ways to stay healthy.
We have all felt this. You go through a super stressful period at work or in your life, and bam, you get sick. It is not just in your head. There's a very real biological reason why that happens. Here's what goes down. When you're dealing with long-term chronic stress, your brain tells your body to release a flood of the stress hormone cortisol. Now, in a short-term crisis, that's helpful. It dials down systems like immunity so you can focus on escaping danger. But when the stress just keeps going, that cortisol keeps your immune system suppressed, basically leaving the front door wide open for any virus that happens to be passing by.
So what's the final verdict on supplements? Let's keep it really simple. We've busted the vitamin C myth. It doesn't prevent colds. Vitamin D, on the other hand, is one that's often recommended, especially if you live somewhere with long, dark winters, because it's really important for immune health. As for things like vitamin A, most of us get everything we need just from a normal, healthy diet.
So after all that, we've learned that the goal isn't boosting, it's balance. That our immune system is a quiet hero, fighting off cancer cells. That stress really does make us sick, and that our own immune response is totally unique. So the question to leave you with is this. Knowing all that, what's one small change you could make to help support that crucial balance in your own life? Thanks for tuning in.
Click the subscribe button to stay updated with VitalSpan Labs.